Welcome to the Pocatello Business Podcast, the only Pocatello podcast focused on providing profits for Pocatello people. If you love our town and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Pocatello Business Podcast with your friend, host, all-around great guy, and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
All right, everyone, we're back with the Pocatello Business Podcast. Soon to be making some big changes here this month, so stay tuned. Anyways, I know we don't have a guest from Pocatello today, but it's one of my personal friends and icons because he does some cool stuff that I wish I could do all the time. This is Jason Johnson. He's from Wasilla, Alaska. He's not currently there, as you can tell by the backdrop. He owns a Premiere Janitorial Services over there. And going on over 9 years now of owning that?
Yep. A little over 9 years.
It's built that into a 7-digit a year company, something that we all strive to do. And he's living the life. You know, he's running this company and he's traveling and having a good time with his beautiful wife, Kim. She's not in the picture. She's the more attractive one of the two. So
for sure.
So Jason, did I miss anything about your introduction?
No, yeah, you got it right. I'm from Alaska. I'm not there, as you can see in the background. I'm in Mexico actually. They call it in the jungle. I'm in the jungle. So yeah.
It is. Yeah. That looks like heaven over there, especially when we just got some snow today.
Yeah, it was like 5 below at my house this morning, so I'm happy not to be there.
I like it. Well, Jason, as we get to going here, I need to start telling everyone that once again, the podcast is sponsored by Dell's Outdoor Advertising. If you guys need any billboard support, they're there to talk to and to guide you to what messages is appropriate for your billboard and what's going to help you stand out. Call Rob at 232-6886. And if you tell him that you heard about him on the podcast, he'll give you the first month for free or the installation for free if you sign up for a 3-month deal. So Jason, back to you. Back to the fun stuff now. Even though billboards are fun to help bring money, let's what's something fun or interesting about yourself?
Something fun or interesting about me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a pretty boring guy. I like golf. I took up golf this year. My wife and I did. And, let's see, we golfed. I don't know how many times we golfed this year, Kim. In the last year, we started in May. We've golfed like 40 times. I mean, it's great. Love it. I don't know if that's fun or interesting, but I like
it. I'm hoping you guys listening, I'm hoping you start to see a trend throughout this conversation, that you can still be successful in business if you automate your systems and do these things, and you can have fun and be outside of your business area. So, Jason, you know, how did you get into business, first of all?
Holy cow. So I don't know, I guess about a little over 9 years ago, I was going to school full time and cleaning for another guy. And I'd always wanted to be a business owner, going to school for business management, supply chain logistics, and was working for another guy and doing kind of crappy work, I thought. And I thought, man alive, if this guy can do this, let me give it a try. So that's how we started. We just did some research, read some books, got a business license, and sent out some letters. And 9.5 years later, here we are.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's funny looking back to how you began. Like, I was literally just looking at some of the stuff we did, like when we started in our company in Bear Lake. I actually have a saved thing in one of my folders on Dropbox that has like the pull off tab for calling. That's how I got started, you know? So it's fun to reminisce about that kind of stuff. So what's your favorite part about your business?
You know, I like the fact that we get to affect so many different people, right? When I first started this, I just thought of myself as a clean business, as a cleaner. You know, it was kind of, I don't want to say I looked down on it, but it wasn't something I was really proud of. But I look at all the people that work for us, that we get to help, we get to employ and get to know and try to impact their lives, and somewhere in our clients too. You know, we build relationships with our clients, and when you get to know them and build a relationship, it's like you're part of the team and you're helping their business too. So I just like that whole dynamic of it's a team from, the brand new cleaner to the client we've had for 9 years. All of you together. It's a dynamic where it's a service industry, so we're all helping each other out. I really like that part of the business. That's the part that, to this day still inspires me, is the fact that we get to help people out and serve people.
Perfect. That's huge, and I think sometimes we lose track of that, of our main purpose of why we started this thing in the beginning. Yeah, it's of course we all want to make some money, but it's also we want to bring value to people's lives. So that's great. So what's the biggest mistake you've made in business?
Oh, biggest mistake I've made. Holy cow. You would think I'd know these answers, Spencer. I ask these people sometimes, but why you put me on the spot like that? The biggest mistake I've made. Holy cow. Thinking I knew my numbers and not knowing my numbers. I'll go back to that from the very beginning. I really didn't. Yeah, we were making money, but until I really delve in and understood numbers and understood books and understood margins and all that, that was the biggest mistake. I would tell anybody, if you're starting a business, have an accountant and somebody that can teach you numbers and know where you want to be from the beginning, because then you have something you're shooting at and you know where you're going, and whether you're bidding contracts right, or no matter what your industry is, if you've got a business, if you don't know your numbers, how are you doing? What are you judging against? What are you marking on as far as the profit side? That would be, I would say, the biggest mistake I made for 6.5, 7 years, floundering, making money. But golly, once I understood numbers and got to know them and knew where they should be and got them there, that made all the difference in the world.
There's nothing, I went through that as well. It's nothing worse than thinking your company's growing. You see the gross revenue going up and you're like, wait, isn't there supposed to be more money in my pocket? Until you realize, oh crap, maybe my numbers aren't right, and maybe I better dig into that. So anyways,
no wonder everybody's hiring me, man. I'm cheap as crap.
That's exactly right. And the people that are cheap, they don't know their numbers, or they're cutting their profits out to get the deal, which doesn't help you or doesn't help anyone, because then you can't
help anybody. Nope.
Then you can't provide value to those customers.
For sure.
So all you're doing is just cutthroat. So to make a dime. Anyways, so let's talk about the real reason everyone, seeing the palm trees behind you and the sun. How in the hell can you keep running this business in Alaska from Mexico, Hawaii that you were in last week? Tell us, what's your secret sauce?
Well, first of all, it's the team, right? There's no business that you and I or anybody, unless you're a one-man show, runs. So you have to have a good team around you, which, as you know as well as I do, it's the type of people you hire that are like-minded. So it's the core values, having, core values, and then building a culture where, think about it as a business owner. Normally, one of our biggest headaches as a business owner is your employees, right? When you have employees, because in order to make money, right, we have to have employees, because that's typically how you make money, especially in the service industry. If you don't have a culture and you don't have people that are, everybody shows up to work and does their job, how easy is your job? What do you have to do? Yeah, you have to order some supplies. You have people get sick every now and then. There's a few things to cover, but overall, if everybody's doing what they're supposed to, life is good. So that goes back to hiring or hiring people that that are going to be good. So you have to have a system for that, right? We're going to talk about systems. Yeah. You have a system for that. If somebody calls out, you have a system for that. And if you have a system that your supplies get ordered or they come in for, everything has to be systematized. And then on top of that, you just have to hire good people and surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that are, smarter than you, and that do the job.
I like it. But I'm sure there's people out there saying, man, what happens if someone quits? What happens if a client gets upset and you're all the way in Mexico? What happens then, Jason?
Well, there's a system, right? If they quit, then we've got somebody else that's already trained to be able to go in there and take care of that. We have a system for that. And then one of the things is we don't have systems for everything. Here I am in Mexico. And granted, I have a team at home that runs the show, right? I have people that take the phone calls and these things happen. But even now, there's times that I get a phone call. But the thing is, I have somebody there that can take care of it. But we as a group, if it's something that we have to put our heads together and figure it out, that's the last time we should do that. Once you identify a problem, okay, now we've got to figure out a system that takes care of that next time. So when it happens, you automatically know. You don't have to call Jason. You don't have to call anybody. When it happens, if this, then this, right? I mean, that's all a system
Yeah.
is. If something happens, what's the recourse? And so one of the biggest things that I've learned, I've had, as you well know, I have a business coach. One of the things I've learned is not only are they systemizing things, but anytime we would bring a problem to them, it's like, well, what are you going to do to fix that in the future so you don't have this problem again, right? So that's one of the biggest things I've learned too, is when you do identify a problem, don't just come up with a solution, come up with a system that fixes the problem so you don't have that problem again.
Yeah.
Because then it's not a problem. Then it's just an instance that's going to happen. And if this happens, then this, right? I mean, that's one of the biggest things we've done and are still doing, right? We don't have every system and every process, but we have enough of them in place and enough good people that we are able to, be gone. And unlike you with, I don't know how many kids running around the house, I don't have any. So that affords me freedom too.
Don't be making me jealous, all right? Dude, I'd be there if I didn't have these 4 kids, which I love very much.
I know you do. I'm just giving you a hard time.
But
yeah.
Anyways, that's true. Like, so you're continuing to grow you're growing your company, you're growing your culture most of all, because like you said, you got to find people that kind of are core value matches that make it easier for you to get away, and that they're able to say, okay, this is the process. This is what happened last time that was a problem. Now we just got to follow the system. And, and you listeners out there listening now, how many times, ask yourself this, or a little question for yourselves. Ask yourselves, how many times have you had the same problem that you've personally had to take over and solve over and over again? Like, how many times has that happened without thinking, man, this happens quite a bit. Why isn't there a process here that would make my life easier? A step-by-step plan to walk my management team or whoever through this so I don't have to do it every time. So that's something you should ask yourselves, and then do what Jason does and continue to create that system. It makes it easy for him to be in Mexico enjoying the sun.
Well, and one of the things I would encourage people to do is, if you do have staff, have them ask the same questions to themselves too, right? Because a lot of times we think if it's not on our plate, it's taken care of. But you may not have a system for it. You may have a person, and that's not a bad thing. But if they're doing a repetitive task as well, figure out how can we systematize that so it takes care of itself, right? I mean, I think sometimes, and I know I've done that, and one of the things I task my staff with all the time when we have a meeting, what is it that we can streamline and make things more efficient, where you're not spending, half your day, 2 days before payroll, getting payroll ready to run it. What's a better system? That's just an example I can think of one we just worked on. We hear, we've been running payroll obviously for 9 years, and had a system that we're like, why aren't we doing this twice a month? Isn't there a system? When we figured out a way to put it into a spreadsheet to where it automatically does some things for us, it's like, how didn't we do this 9 years ago? We just saved ourselves an hour every 2 weeks, so 2 hours a month, which doesn't sound like a lot of time, but you add it up, that's other things you can be doing and be more efficient at. Or if that person goes away, there's a system versus somebody taking all the time to do that.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, we could talk about this all day long about, not hiring one person to do a bunch of things, but hiring a bunch of people to do small things, that way.
Task oriented. Yeah.
So, well, just like, you and I have the same consultant over here and a business coach. And most of the problems, I think we get in our own way because we're too cheap. And when there's a problem and it requires money and you have money, what's the rest of it, Jason?
You don't have a problem.
You don't have a problem. Now, this is not to be vain or anything like that, because you all have a little bit of money in your pocket to stop being cheap and to make your lives a little bit easier. If it's hiring a bookkeeper for $200 a month, and it frees you up hours so you can be creative and find ways to be able to grow your company. That $200 is nothing compared to the sales that you could be accumulating out there, in the wild. So in the sales jungle. So, Jason, anything else that you tell people that how you can continue to run the company, or any tips you would tell them to implement so they can be sitting on a beach in Mexico?
Well, one of the things I would echo on top of that, a lot of times, Spencer, people think, well, I can't afford to do it. I can save money just doing it myself. Is you got to know your worth and what your time is worth and your value. I think a lot of us get into that mindset, especially as small business owners. you know, we think we can save some money and we can do it faster and more efficient. And at the beginning, you maybe because you do it often, but you have to really know what's your time worth, right? What should you be spending your time on? Should you be spending your time doing that task that somebody else can do, or you can be doing what we call it a high dollar, right? Or a high dollar task. I think a lot of us get stuck in that mindset that, oh, nobody else can do this, or if we've built the business, a lot of times it's a control thing. You don't want to give up control because it's, you feel like you're the only one that can do it because it's your baby. I know I had a big problem with that. I was a control freak. And even when I gave tasks, I would micromanage people, which I hated because I hated being micromanaged and I hate micromanaging people,
Yep. We're doing $10 an hour work when we should be doing $10,000 an hour work.
Yeah.
No.
But when you find that $10,000 an hour work, let me know. I want to see that one.
But that's what our sales activities are, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know. But I don't think people understand that sometimes. There's so much more money out there, that you should be in charge of, instead of saying, okay, well, let me do this minute job over here, which someone who specializes in that job, who can do it a lot faster than you can and a lot more efficiently than you can take care of it for a few, shekels over there, or you can be over here making potentially a lot more money. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And if you're not, you got to ask yourself, maybe I need to change up my systems. Maybe I need to change up my approach. So anyways, don't be cheap, people. There's times to be cheap. There's times to be cheap when you're first starting your company and you don't have 2 pennies to rub together, and that's fine. You gotta do it all yourself. We understand that when you're starting a company, you gotta do everything yourself. You gotta, Jason and I both understood that. You started out cleaning, you started out being you're the CEO, you started out being the bookkeeper, you were everyone. But slowly you can grow, or as fast as you want, you grow. And then you have to start delegating and don't keep it all on yourself.
Yep, for sure.
I like it, Jason. Well, I know you want to get back to that tropical paradise and we appreciate you being on the show. But let me ask you here on the quick lightning round, what's one of the best books or softwares that you would recommend to people, and why?
Ooh, software, man.
Books or software, doesn't matter.
Well, books, I would have to say one of my favorite books is by Dave Ramsey, Entre Leadership.
Okay.
I don't know if you've read that one, but as far as software, I don't know. It's right. It's because I'm working on it right now. Is a software called Zoho. Now it's really robust, so it's not one of those softwares you just go get it and you can use it. But there are actually companies out there you can find that can help you build it. The Zoho, it's for a CRM. As you grow and you need to be able to keep track of your clients and emails, and you have more people, it really ties everything together. That's probably right now my favorite software. We're really diving into it pretty deep and building some pretty cool stuff in it right now. And again, like Spencer said, if you got a problem that requires money, you got money, you don't have a problem. I mean, we are throwing a little bit of money in it, so I don't want to say Zoho, hey, go out there and buy it, because it's a robust program and you have to learn how to use it. But if you got any kind of computer savvy, you can figure it out. But yeah, it's a pretty good program.
I like it. And then what's one question I should have asked that I did not? Is there anything like
one question you should have asked that, but you didn't?
I need to ask about your henna tattoo or your
no, it's fake. Yeah, it's henna. Yeah, that's the Hawaii thing. He asked me, he's like, you got ink? I'm like, yeah, fake ink. It'll be gone in like 2 weeks.
That's just island living there, man. You're not island now,
I couldn't handle that much. I'm too much of a wimp to handle a needle in my arm that many times, man.
That's funny.
Yeah. No, I got a question for you, man. When are you going to come to Mexico with me?
I'm trying to make it happen in April if I can just, get a sitter over here for these kids and all that fun stuff you have to do. Not all of us are empty nesters like you,
Yeah, I know.
Take off.
Yeah.
I'd be there.
Yep.
Okay. Well, appreciate it, Jason. Thanks for being on the Pocatello Business Podcast. And to all you guys listening, I hope you got a lot out of it. Hope you are. And one thing before we go, If you guys are listening to this and you're thinking, man, it's been a couple years since I've had a vacation, get on the Delta app, get on whatever airline you're at, and just book something. Have something to look forward to. Go on to one of the resorts or go to your favorite travel agent and just book something. You work hard. What are you going to do? Just work hard and just, work and not have anything fun to show for it? You can't take the money with you. So have some fun. You'll be surprised how much letting loose a little bit frees up some creativity, and you come back more rested and willing to really grow your company. So that would be.
Let me add to that, Spencer. I would tell them the same thing. And all the people that are out there that haven't or aren't taking those vacations and think, oh, I can't leave my company for that long. So like Spencer said, book that ticket, book the room where you want to go. And maybe it's a month out or 6 weeks out or 2 months out, but that puts a deadline of when, you have to get some of these things in place, and it forces you to get out of your comfort zone to install those systems. Because a lot of times we won't do those things until we get into the right mindset or we're forced to do it. So do that and force yourself. I know that's kind of how we do it. Like this time, Spencer said, I was just in Hawaii and now I'm in Mexico. My goal in the long term is I live in Alaska, as he told you. I don't want to be in the winter any much more. I want to be one of those snowbirds where I'm in Alaska in the summer and out of there in the winter. Well, I couldn't just go. So we, traveled a little bit to be gone so that we can see, hey, can we be gone? Are we ready as our business to a point where we can be gone for 5, 6 months? And so, we've made ourselves book these trips to where, we're going to find out.
I like it. So if you hear this, guys, and you're thinking to yourself, man, I'm the lone firefighter in my office. All I'm doing is putting out fires. Okay, find those fires. Find a way to, put them out, because I'm sure it's the same way you put them out every single time. Journalize it, make it something part of your systems, make it a process, and then get out here in a few months and go have yourself a vacation. You all deserve it. I promise your companies will be there when you get back. If some fires come up, you'll be surprised how fast your teammates and your team can put them out without you, the firefighter, the hero of the show, can do it. So trust your team, put some processes together. Have a great week. Thank you, Jason. And we'll chat with you all later.
Congratulations on spending a couple minutes getting just a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Pocatello business community. If you are feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.